12 minutes to 8 right now. This is Monday morning, the 10th of October, 2022. It's time now to head up to the Dubbo area. We've got a bit of a shellacking over the last couple of weeks or so. And the Mayor, Matthew Dickerson, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kerry. Good to be chatting to you.
Thank you very much indeed for your time. And I know that you guys, you've got a few problems up there at the moment, haven't you?
It's just about water and more water. That's one of the problems that we've got at the moment, but it's overriding every other issue at the moment, Kerry, of course. The Sarusia Bridge, which is our low-level bridge that takes people along the Newell Highway across the river, that's being closed down over the weekend, and that's the first time we've had to close that bridge, Kerry, since 2010. When we close that bridge, the traffic in the centre of Dubbo going across the main bridge, the LH Ford Bridge, becomes very congested, and that's what we're seeing at the moment.
Right, okay, so at this stage I take it that while you've got problems in the river, the outlying areas, of course, are pretty soaked as well.
Everywhere is obviously very soaked, and you only have to go down the river and have a look at the various parts along the river about all the different areas that are impacted behind our shopping centres, Coles and Riverdale in the main street there. Obviously the water's up there on Bly Street. We've had to evacuate the Riverview Caravan Park. So there's a whole range of issues there with roads. Pedestrian bridges have been closed already for the last month or so. So there are road problems all over the place, Kerry. And that's a major issue. We're really even saying to people, if you can work from home, please work from home. If you can come into work at different times, come into work, because back in 2010, there were times people were lined up to get across our main bridge for maybe an hour and a half. So we're trying to minimise that as much as possible.
Yeah, and of course the other thing too is, unfortunately, for farmers in the area that were trying to get crops off and stuff, this has sort of ruined everything, isn't it?
Well, hopefully it's not ruined everything, but it certainly makes it very tough. Who'd want to be a farmer, Kerry? If it's not drought, it's mice, it's either that or it could be bushfires, and then you think you're past all of that, and then you've got floods that come along or too much rain when you're trying to get crops off or get crops in or whatever it might be you're trying to do on the farm. It doesn't make it very easy. So it's pretty tough out there.
A lot of people, of course, don't realise you've got emergency service people working, you know, the ACS and police and so on. But also, of course, council workers are out there too. And, you know, they're sometimes in dangerous situations as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And our council staff have been doing a fantastic job over the weekend. It's accelerated. Obviously, people on weekends prefer to be doing things away from work, actually enjoy their time on weekends. But the SES have been fantastic, the police have been great, and all of our staff have been out there because they've got to erect road closure signs. We've got to make decisions for a start. We've got our emergency committee that's obviously been discussing all these items on an almost minute-by-minute basis. But then once the action is taken to say, let's close down certain roads, you've got to have some people out there with feet on the ground to actually put up all of those various road closure information to let people know where to go, and even just directing people. So if you can't get across at a certain section, how do you get to the right location? How do you get that diversion in place or that detour in place? So our staff have been doing a great job over the weekend doing all of that.
And what's your forecast looking like now at the moment, Matthew? Is it still a problem?
Well, the river started to fall, which was fantastic. 6 o'clock this morning, it was down to 7.46 metres. So that's good. It's really around, once it gets over those 7 metre mark, it's pretty bad. So it should get down below the Sarusia Bridge, hopefully sometime today or tomorrow. And then we can start the process of looking at cleaning up the bridge, getting it ready to have traffic come back on it. But I don't see the bridge, Sarusia Bridge, being open today just with the amount of water that's still there at this stage. Then once we get that bridge open up again, it's waiting for the water to fall to start doing all the cleanup of the other roads before we can get traffic back onto those roads.
Yeah, it's a big job, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. And people don't realise how many different parts are impacted. It's not just the one road that they go on, but there are so many different areas that are impacted. So it said Bly Street's closed. We've got changed traffic conditions down Cobra Street as well, trying to get the traffic to flow a little bit better down there. So some of the entrances on Cobra Street from the side streets have been restricted. Obviously the Sarusia Bridge that I mentioned. And then there's all the areas in Wellington as well. The Renshaw McGurr Way is closed at the Bell River. Duke of Wellington Bridge has been closed for a little while. That remains closed. Saxa Road is closed. There are so many road closures around. And I did actually see some footage come through over the weekend of a little collapse that happened outside Dubbo's LGA, but over towards Mudgee where there was a bit of the road that gave way, and so that road was closed as well. So road closures all over the place, Kerry.
Yeah, and also it affects businesses too, doesn't it? I mean, It affects businesses a great deal, in fact.
Well, there are some businesses that couldn't open. I know yesterday, for example, in Dubbo Square and Riverdale, many of those businesses along Macquarie Street, if you can't get entrance to the backside of those particular businesses, that affects their ability to store stock. They've got to move their stock, get their staff in to try and move that out. So you're right, it's not just the traffic, it's not just getting to and from work or school, the first day back of school today. So there are businesses out there that are severely impacted by this as well, but they simply can't trade.
Good luck with it. Thank you for your time this morning. I know you're a busy boy. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it this morning.
All right, thank you, Kerry. Always good to chat.
Have a good one. There we go. Matthew Dixon there.